let's take a look at a new way I plan to get the message out. Stick around and we'll get right to it. Real quick before we get going today, I've got to give a shout out to these guys. They're my latest patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to help support the channel, I'll leave a link to Patreon down in the description below. So after Summer Field Day 2022, I was talking to a friend of mine, Kenny Witt. KC4OJS, I believe, is his call sign. But anyway, me and Kenny were talking, and he was taking a look at the RV setup that I ran at Field Day during the summer. And he kind of threw an idea out there that it would be cool if I had a TV on the outside of the RV to be able to display information. And I kind of kicked that idea around, and the more I thought about it, the more I liked the concept of this. So I wanted to kind of explore that and see what I could come up with, and I'm going to give you guys a highlight of it today, and then if you want more information, I'll tell you where you can go to dive into it a little bit deeper. But I wrote this thing that I'm calling Pi Display, and obviously by the name of it, it's designed to run on a Raspberry Pi. Now, my RV is not equipped with a TV on the outside of it like some of them are, so I had to resort to using an external monitor. So I'm going to run the Rotom 15-inch monitor that I picked up this past year. Now, this display is run entirely in a web browser, so it'll support a lot of different file types. It'll support PDF files, JPEG files, HTML files. It'll support plain text, pictures, if I didn't say that already, and even movies. So it has a pretty wide range of what it's able to support. Now, I've got some other notes here I do want to reference as I go through this to make sure we're not overlooking anything. So it is easy to update. It can be managed over an SSH connection where you can move files onto the display and off of the display as you might need to. You don't have to interrupt the slideshow display in order to add or remove things to it. If you add a new slide, well, the next time it goes through those slides, it will pick up the new one. And if you remove one of them, the same thing will occur on the next run through. So that makes it really easy to update the system on the fly. Now, it also has a built-in weather page generator, so you can quickly type out the forecast. It's just a script that it runs, so it's easy to run over SSH, where it's just going to ask you some questions and it'll give you a nice graphical interface at the end, or a nice graphical display at the end, including some basic weather icons. So that's something else that this can do. You can also create pages for this in just a word processor. So if you don't want to write any code or do anything, you just need to get a quick page up, you could simply write that, type something up in a word processor and export it as a PDF file. Since modern browsers all support displaying PDF files, it's not a problem for the Pi Display to handle. Now, there's probably a lot of different use cases for a display like this that you could set up. Maybe you're supporting something with your Aries group and you might want to give some information out. Maybe you're doing a bike race or a foot race and you're at the command center and you want to be able to display some information there. The way I'm going to use it at Winter Field Day is just to put some information out there that others may find interesting. Now, Winter Field Day is not really as heavily visited by outside people, but some of the things that I have included on the display are just informational slides. I call them the Did You Know slides. So, did you know we can send email over radio? Things along that. But I want to put weather updates up there. I'm going to post a schedule for Winter Field Day. I'm going to have an APRS map automatically pulled in from the Digipeater so that it can be displayed here as well. And I'll probably have that update every 60 to 90 seconds or so that you can pretty much be looking at a real-time APRS map of local traffic in the area. I'm going to put any kind of announcements that may pop up as the day goes along. I want to also include pictures and video on this. So I've got to do a little bit more research in how I'm going to get those images from my iPhone, say over to the Linux laptop, be able to downsize those because you really don't want to be running 4 and 5 megabyte files through this. There's just really no need to. So I need to research and figure out a way that I can downsize those so that they're, say, 1920 by 1080 and take up roughly a meg or maybe a little less of disk space as they're going through the display. I could also put some news alerts if there was anything that was worthy to know. We can put some fun facts about radio up there, and we can also put station capabilities, a slide that's got kind of a display of station capabilities up. Again, I don't expect a lot of visitors for Winter Field Day, but this could be something kind of cool for Summer Field Day when we do have a lot of visitors come through. So last year we had a big group of scouts that came through, and it would have been kind of cool to have a display like this just running on the outside of the RV. Something that they could see and kind of interact with a little bit. Now, it is a work in process, but you can head over to GitHub. I'll leave a link right here across the screen, and I'll leave a link down in the description below. There is another video over on the GitHub page that will walk you through all of the details of getting this installed and how to use it. So if that's something you're interested in, you can definitely check out that video. But I'll leave a link to all of that down in the description below. So if it's something that you think is useful, you can head over to GitHub and check that out. Guys, thanks as always for tuning in. We will see you on the next one. Until then, 7-3.